evening and welcome to Nonsense Talk News. I am Pallab Ghosh with you. At the outset, I condemn the attacks on the journalists during the Panchayat Poll coverage today. The ruling Trinamool had unleashed its goons on the reporters who had gone to cover the Panchayat polls. Some of the television channels were brave enough to report live how booth capturing were taking place. Today's election had some alarming visuals, like how women in some of the constituencies had poured water inside the ballot boxes. The brave reporters had covered this. There were Trinamool goons who had unleashed terror at various booths, constituencies, with guns, hurling bombs. Once again, reporters had covered this. We also saw how the Trinamool goons had set ballot boxes on fire. Well, when I say Trinamool, because predominantly the finger is pointing at Trinamool, but that doesn't mean that the other political parties are holy cow. Of course not. We had seen how left front had rigged. Perhaps if Bengal has learned rigging, then the courtesy goes to left front. How can we forget the black 34 years when left front had unleashed terror? How can we forget Anandamargi? How can we forget Shaibari? So on and so forth, and endless booth capturing, endless rigging, endless killings. Unfortunately, Trinamool, which actually came with a catch line, Badla Nai Badol Chai, not revenge but change, is aping the left front, and perhaps this is the reason Trinamool is inducting the former left front members in its party. We also saw how some communist party workers were putting the stamps on the ballots. So as I said, none of the political parties are holy cow, but my point here is not political party, but the brutality or attacks on journalists. Though we all know in this country, politicians have a cult expression, have a cult dialogue, shoot the messenger. A journalist or a reporter or a news house is good, is praiseworthy till they are speaking against, reporting against the opposition. But once they dare to report or write against the ruling party, immediately the journalists and the fraternity becomes villain. I am not here to support or stand by the anti-establishment journalism, because in this country there is immense misconception about anti-establishment journalism. Even when I talk to my friends in the fraternity, many of them frown and they say anti-establishment journalism is a sin. Unfortunately, anti-establishment journalism is the only journalism that can save the democracy, because anti-establishment journalism means you are constantly warning, you are constantly giving an alarm to the ruling party and asking them to be aware. You are constantly telling them, don't cross your limit, else you can be thrown out. And perhaps this is the reason some of our political leaders in the past had appreciated anti-establishment journalism. But in general, political fraternity finds it difficult to gobble down, difficult to eschew anti-establishment journalism. But as I said, I am not here to give lecture on anti-establishment journalism. I once again condemn the political parties, whoever had attacked the journalists today during Panchayat Polls. Finally, before summing up, I just want to say one thing. If these political parties feel by unleashing their goons, they will be able to silence the voice of the media, the voice of the newshounds, then they are on the wrong. The more they will try to silence, the more they will try to stop the media, the more newshounds will strike back with more excitement, more energy. Because for us, for journalists, news comes first. And as we say in our fraternity, a story is a story. It may be dangerous, it may not be dangerous. But a story means, and if it has been commissioned or assigned, it has to be done. So political fraternity must and should understand now that even if they try to kill us, they try to kidnap us, they try to threat us, newshounds will continue to report the designated or assigned stories. And as I said, someone being in the fraternity, myself being a journalist, I feel proud of these boys and girls who had done this today. Even after brutally attacked, even after being beaten by sticks, by Trinamool goons at many booths, they continued to report. This is journalism, and this is the spirit and essence of journalism. If political fraternity is finding it hard to eschew, then they must now try to understand that newshounds will not stop because of threats or because of death. News will continue. And as I said, for us, story is a story. I leave you with this for today. This is Pallab Ghosh signing off for Nonsense Talk News. Once again, kudos, compliments, hats off to these young boys and girls, reporters and camera persons who had done this today.